Willkommen, wir sprechen heute mit der kanadischen Goldgesellschaft Bonterra Resources bzw. deren CEO Nav Dhaliwal. Bonterra arbeitet mit Hochdruck an der Erweiterung der Goldlagerstätte Gladiator und wir wollen mal nachhören, wo man da steht und was Nav sich so erwartet. Nav, welcome. Before we talk about Bonterra and what an exciting time it is for the company, please tell us a bit about yourself, because people with junior companies want to know who's at the helm.
And sure, and you know what, that's a valid question in today's marketplace. People should know who the people are behind the companies. You know, it's one thing to have a great resource or a great property, but who's driving the ship? So myself, I've been a venture capitalist by heart. I've been involved with numerous companies, raising money, getting the word out there, and creating a lot of attention. In 2009, I gave conception to Bonterra into this area. It came to me from a management group that was looking for the next gold district, which I discovered here in Canada. And that being said, so I put them involved here. I believed in the area. So that being said, in 2012, I saw an opportunity here where taking what they had, maybe drop the ball, but I believed in what we were doing in this area. So that being said, I built myself around building companies with real assets, with real people. Hence why, bringing on the likes of Dale Ginn as my VP of Exploration, surrounding myself with people that have done and have that experience and years of experience. We're talking over 30 years experience just with him, and developing a group that understands geology, that can tell us and the investors how we're taking a property and building a resource. What's 5 steps, what's 10 steps look like. And I think we're, slowly but surely getting on that path here as we're developing out Bonterra.
Now, well, slowly is perhaps not the right word when it comes to the drilling you're doing, right? You did a lot of drilling this year. The Gladiator project already has 270,000 roughly ounces on it, but those date back to 2012, I think. And as I said, you've done just a bit of drilling since then. Can you tell us what you achieved so far?
Yeah, no, and that gives us a good start point. So again, like I was mentioning earlier, took over the company in 2012, replaced management by getting the likes of Dale Ginn. So at that time, I did take the work that did happen in Bonterra, and had to make kind of sense of it if we're getting a new start point. So I commissioned a 43-101 in late 2012, which gave us a strike of 200 meters by 200 meters at depth, for 273,000 ounces, 9.37 grams per ton. So it gave us a very good start. Since then, and we've completed over 80,000 meters of drilling. We've taken that 200 meter by 200 meter deposit, stretched it over 1.2 kilometers at strike, and 1.2 kilometers at depth, with now 5 distinct zones that we've got almost subvertical vein structures, and so it's shaping out quite well.
Very interesting. And 80,000 meters, you said, that's
to
quite
date
a lot.
So far. That's what this deposit has, and we're only we're continuing to drill right now with 4 rigs. So we're not stopping, nor have we stopped all year long. So yeah, no, we're very excited. And what's happened here is through the work that we've done, and the understanding and the enthusiasm, and my hat's off to the team for what they've done. We have such a strong understanding of the predictability of this deposit that our success rate on the drill bit. Very, very proud of how successful we are when we're drilling this now.
And what just a recent release ties into what you've been saying, that you don't plan to stop now. You've built out a camp for all year round access, I guess. So you're going to drill through the winter into the next year. Actually,
winter's when we really are able to ramp up. our production in the sense of drilling exploration wise. So what we've concentrated this year was to build infrastructure. We're here to stay. So now that we've taken a 25-man camp, built it into an 80-man camp, we built over 10 kilometers of roads for accessibility. So when we've shown a presence in this area. With that, right now, currently we have 4 rigs. We plan on upsizing that in the winter here. We plan on doing a 30,000 meter winter drill program. So we're going to increase 4 rigs to 6 rigs. 80% of our drilling will be concentrated on the deposit. 20% will be regional. And when I say regional, just in the last couple months via news release, you've seen that we've hit a new discovery on our Coliseum property, which is 6 kilometers away. So never been worked before. So we've got the concentration on the deposit, but we're also very encouraged on what we found on the Coliseum property.
And is that on trend to what you've got now, or are you hoping to connect the dots, perhaps?
Perhaps, but it could be its own trend. So again, it's early days for what we've discovered there. We may believe it's a different horizon. That also what we're very interested in is what works well in this area, not only by doing the ground mag, the IP surveys, but what really works well is till anomalies, soil anomalies. So we did a regional program in the summer while we were still drilling, and what we're very intrigued by is that we hit over 2 ounces of silver. So that's why which has not been seen on the deposit. So we're believing it may be a different horizon, because as we trend further southwest, you also pick up on high copper and zinc anomalies. So again, which is associated in Quebec in these greenstone belts, is that you do have gold deposits that are complemented by, call it a VMS style deposit as well.
Okay,
so again, early days, but we're very encouraged. We're well financed. I'd like to mention that we did over $40 million worth of bought transactions this year. Bringing in the likes of Eric Sprot over as an insider, Joe Foster from VanEck, not the ETF, the actual fund. We brought in Kinross and Kirkland Lake Gold as well. So our shareholder base is now turning over, and that's just been since this March of this year. We've been working very hard, and we've gotten very. And I can comfortably say we've gotten very far in very short order, seeing that, the last bit of money that we did raise, the last 20 million, was only in June.
And how much of the 40 million is left now?
We just got about $28 million. And again, we plan on spending about $10 million on that 30,000 meter drill program. So, our treasury is comfortable to cut. And this is a good point to be had here is, this is one of the most efficient times of the year for us to work. As this is low-lying area. It's easier when the ground is frozen to get our equipment dragged around in places and to get on top of the deposit to do some, target drilling. We want to do 50-meter spacings because here's the thing. With what we're doing currently is we're looking to update our 43-101 mid-next year. And that being said is we want to get as much winter drilling. So there's going to be a lot of news flow coming from us. And if you look historically, from January to May is when we really excel on that news flow. Exciting times ahead of us, and this is where we want to reach out to shareholders or people looking at the company to kind of show them that there's still value left in this company where we're at.
Well, let's come back to the resource calculation. You said you're planning for mid-next year. I know you cannot give us exact numbers, right?
No.
And you don't know them as of yet. But I read a research report recently where they talked, or the analysts talked about 1.5 million ounces being the goal, or what they expect you to reach. Now, were they just being conservative? Do you expect more? Is it in the same league of what you are thinking about? Or hoping to achieve, let's say?
Well, we're hoping to achieve a lot more than that. We want to stay conservative on our expectations, but I believe that the public and people that are watching the story will be pleasantly surprised on what we come up with as a 43-101. And yeah, I tend not to give numbers to people. It just, you know, sets the bar. But believe me, we're very conservative on how we're looking at it, and we're very comfortable on our approach to this. And we definitely, you know, people are modeling us now. They can start figuring out how many ounces are there, so I'll leave it at that. That we, you know, I think that people will be pleasantly surprised with our 43-101.
Okay, great. Thanks. Now, as you already said, you think the stock has a lot of value left, upside left. Although you have to say you reached at 66 cents, I think, a 52-week high recently, right? Stock took off. Still, in your personal opinion, is it still a good time for investors to look at the company, think about taking a position?
Absolutely. You know, that's a question that comes to me quite often now, seeing this stock has moved, but it hasn't relatively erupted as of yet. You've just started seeing consistent news flow from us here in the last, call it 3-4 weeks, and that's going to continue. With that, you know, consistency of our information flow, look, you're relative to what we're doing right now. We're building on, you know, analysts are calling 1.52 million ounce deposit high grade. You got a company that's only worth about $110 million as of right now. So what's happening here is the roster's turning over, where we're getting long-term investors starting to take positions. You know, people are asking how they can get involved, and look, we're comfortable in our treasury. We're not opening up a financing for, you know, just to get people involved. There's the open market where the stock is now consolidating into better hands, and as that happens, you'll see an appreciation. That's what we expect, is to see an appreciation. But what I do tell investors is do your due diligence, and once you do get those boxes checked off on the criterias of, you know, exploration companies, I believe will far exceed their expectations on having those boxes and their criterias checked off.
Okay, thank you very much.